Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to use Google Spreadsheet to track your expenses. So the first thing you're going to do is download Google Spreadsheet. So I will you will go to Play Store, go to search, then search for Google. Just input everything inside. Then I'm not going to be downloading the game because I already have it on my phone and I can't download it again. But you have to make sure it's this Excel because there are different kinds of, let's say, Excel editor. I'll use that word, but I don't know that is correct. So there are different kind. Make sure it's this. You select this and download it. So when you download it, if you look for the app, it'll look something like this. So what I'm going to do is click on it, or what you want to do is click on it too. So if you're going to be using Excel for the first time, I hope this is not the first time you're using Excel, and if it is, don't worry, the video will be so simple. I'm just going to walk through everything. It's going to be easy. If it's the first time for you using Excel, don't worry. It's this a beginner lesson. I'm not going to be doing anything in depth. It's going to be easy for you. So what I'm going to do is, what I want you to do is this add button right here. I want you to click on it. You see choose templates. You click on that, and you see different kind of templates. But what you want to use, the one we're going to be using is the monthly Excel spreadsheet. So this is how it looks like. Let's zoom out. This is how it looks like. So I'm going to pan into the landscape view because it's going to be easier to do it that way for me actually. So just wait. Okay, I'm back. Now we're in the landscape view. So what I'm going to do is show you how this, just walk you through the OSL. So as you can see, there are two different sheets. We have summary and transaction. So first of all, we'll focus on the summary. So the summary basically just summarizes your transaction. So what the summary entails is many of these write up. We're not going to look at that. So we're going to look at this. First, we have the starting balance and the ending balance, or the start balance and end balance. So the start balance is the, if you want to input your start balance, the money that's in your account when you started the, let's say, when you started your transaction, maybe it could be the money remaining from last month, or yeah, most of the time it's mostly the money remaining from last month. So your starting balance, this is your starting balance. Then we have the ending balance. The ending balance is after the transaction. This usually is after the end of the month. The money that is left, that's your ending balance. So ending balance is your, so if you want to edit this, let's say that's not your starting balance and you want to use this, so what you do is you're not going to edit this here because editing it here is basically, oh sorry, not that. Uh, Editing it here is basically saying you want to remove this function, and you can't remove all this function because in Excel you have function that helps you calculate and like say summarize things or connect things. So this function is already connected to another cell. So removing this means you want to manually do this on your own. If I clear this and put maybe input the amount I want, that means I'm breaking the connection between this cell and the other cell. So the other cell that is connected to is this cell. So this is the cell that you want to edit. As you can see, the figure is there. So you want to edit it. You're starting from zero. If you're like me, you're starting from zero. Leave anything in my account unless maybe during any of the month someone find me something or somebody dash me money. Then that's when you see something in my account. But normally, if I'm saving, it's always going to be a saving account. So if you see, it's going to change to zero. Okay, for now, the ending balance is what we have remaining in our account currently. So let's go to the next session. The next session we have expenses. Expenses we have planned and actual. The plan basically is the money you're expecting to spend or you think you're going to spend. Actual is the money that you actually spend or the money you spent. So when we go down, you see the expenses column, or let's say the expenses side of the spreadsheet rather. So into the expenses part of the spreadsheet, what you want to do is, okay, before we start editing, you can see that the money or The numbers are expressed in, I don't know if that's euro or pounds, but I think that's, someone tell me that's euro. They're expressed in my voice. They're expressed in euro. So we want to edit that because we're not using euro. So to edit it, you can just touch a cell that you want to edit. But in this case, we're not editing a cell. We want to edit everything. You're gonna do is you want to press this thing, go to formatting, you press here. We know, let's remove it. We're gonna press here. Okay, so we know that Naira is not going to be a Naira symbol is not going to be here, so we're gonna format it to be normal numbers and not accounting. So numbers. So if we format it and do it as numbers, you can see that this cell now are working with numbers. So we're going to do this to the other parts of the cell, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to do it out. So okay, so I'm done editing everything. They're all in numbers, and none of them is in euro or euro. So what I'm going to do is, let me walk you down the expenses part of the spreadsheet. So in this expenses part, the table, you can see there's a total, planned, actual, and difference. So in the total, you have these expenses categorized into different category. So this category, I'm gonna have to remove them. They are not useful for, let's say, the person that has a spreadsheet, Mr. James. So I'm making a spreadsheet for Mr. James. So Mr. James is a banker, and he has this side also of being a fish farmer too. So he farms or he rear fishes. I'm gonna leave foodstuff because foodstuff is important. So foodstuff, we're gonna check for foodstuff. So yourself. So that's foodstuff. Then we're gonna change gifts to transportation. Transportation, copy, transportation, sorry. Oh god, apparently, clear transportation is ready here. Okay, apparently transportation is there. But let's just add it. So if you want to clear a part of yourself, like now, I do not need this health slash medical. I can just do, there are two ways you could do it. You can do this, you click here, you click at the ending of the, let's say the bar or whatever column, the ending with the numbers. So you click there, then you click on delete. The reason why you don't want to do this, or you might not want to do this, is because if you click and delete this row, everything in this row, including this side of the spreadsheet, is going to delete. Just watch what will happen to the bonus. Now we don't longer have that bonus anymore because I've deleted that row. But if you do something like this, you say, oh, I don't want that. But you can just click here and edit it. Let's say, since it's not paying rent every month, let's say it saves up rent every expenses. Transportation can already exist. So we're going to delete that, and it's going to delete this row. Sadly, we don't have a choice. So we're going to delete that row, editing the expenses, like putting the categories that I want. So let's go to the next part of the categories or the expenses table. We have the planned. So I've already explained what the plan is. Now I've explained what the actual is. So we're going to put in fill out that information. So let's say for foodstuff we planned 40,000. That is 40,000 is going to spend every month. Transportation, let's assume in case the banker, let's say he works, this banker works 5 days a week. So let's say he works 5 days a week and he does that for a month, that is 4 weeks. So he's going to be working 24 days, sorry, 28 days. 28 times 3, that's 8,400. Let's say it takes transport going and coming, so that's 16,800. So 16,800 rent. So his rent is 500k. It stays in a very comfortable one bedroom flat. So 500k, and he's not planning to pay 500k once. He's saving towards that rent. So that will be somewhere around 42,000 every month. Let's put 2,000 every month. So crucial. What could be a crucial for Mr. James? Crucial is anything that doesn't fall in any of the categories, including others. Meaning this is something that he needs. He cannot, compromise. As a banker, probably getting his dress ironed and pressed is very important to him. He needs to iron his clothes. So he has to iron his dress. And NEPA has not bring lights, even though he paid the NEPA bill. He have not brought the light for 5 days. And he has to go to work with the iron dress. So he's going to take that clothes to the laundry. So taking that clothes to the laundry is a crucial expenses. And he has to log that, or he has to, you know, put that as his transaction. So if you're going to be doing that, that means you have to categorize it somewhere. Categorizing it as crucial, it's important that you do it that way. You can plan for a crucial expenses if you choose to, but sometimes it might not be planned for. So for him, I'm going to put 0. But if it was maybe Mrs. Jenny or something, um, Mrs. Jenny can have buying sanitary pads as a crucial because he can have sanitary pads as his own category, and you can log probably 2,000 naira for sanitary pads on our planned expenses. So it's not about crucial expenses, like most of the time it's spontaneous, it's not really planned for, and it's crucial. Okay, so we're not going to log anything there. We're going to go to utility bill. Utility bill, he probably pays 3,000 naira a month for light bill and 2,000 naira to pump water in case there's no light. So let's say, okay, dining out. He has a girlfriend and he likes taking his girlfriend out every weekend. So weekends, maybe on Saturday or Sunday. I'm taking her out. Two of them dining out cost 10,000. So 40,000 from dining out. Then others could be anything that don't fall into crucial or any other categories in these expenses. So we're gonna leave others as blank too because you don't plan for others either. So let's go to the other part of the table, which is the actual. If you click on the actual, sorry, you can see that something written there, meaning you do not edit it. This is going to change according to what you input in the transaction part of the Excel sheet. So you're going to leave this like this because you cannot input. If you input it, then you have to remove these functions. These functions are important, but this function links itself to whatever happens or whatever information is gotten from the transaction part of the Excel sheet. And if you go down, every part of this actual already has something similar, the same functions because they work the same way. And the same thing goes for the difference. Yes, there's another difference, it's a different kind of function. What it does, let me just explain what it does. What it does just basically manuals from the D cell manuals E cell, then it'll give you the difference. So we're done with the expenses part of the spreadsheet. Let's go to the income part of the spreadsheet. Let's go to the income part of the spreadsheet. Okay, let's take this somewhere high. So in the income part of the spreadsheet, we have this. Okay, number one, we have problem with the savings. Savings for me, it's not part of income. It's more like expenses. If you ask me, you take your money out and put it in a safe. So that's expenses. I think I'll put it in expenses. Let me first focus on this income. So what would be on the income part? Um, Paycheck. So, like I said, Mr. James is a banker, so he gets paid salary. The salary he gets paid in a month, let's say 200K. As you can see, don't pay attention to the negative value seen here, minusing automatically, reason being that there's already a transaction that have already been inputted on the transaction part of the spreadsheet, which we will get to after looking at this part. That's the reason why it's already doing minus. According to the spreadsheet right now, we already done a transaction or already received only 1,000 naira from our paycheck. And that's why it's giving us this negative. Let's see, and I told you he's also a fish farmer. So let's see, he has income from his fish farm. I forgot to put expenses for the fish farm. Let's see, he plans to sell some fish that's going to give him 70,000. And despite being a banker, a fish farmer is also a consultant. He helps other farmers in their production. Okay, for commission, he doesn't know how much he's going to get for commission. He doesn't know how many people he's going to consult. He doesn't know how much they will pay him for the consultation. So we don't leave commission as zero. He has no plans for the commission. We're going to have orders. Why do we need orders? So sometimes we get money from people. Say, Mr. James probably helped Ogatunde maybe years ago, or if I say years ago, let's say months ago, and so we need the orders. Reason why we're having orders is sometimes we get certain money that do not fall into this category. Let's say, example, Mr. James helped Ogatunde a long time ago in his poultry farm, gave him certain consulting ideas or certain advice, and Mr. Dule took those advice and he has seen 3x gain on his farm. So Mr. Dule is quite excited that he gained 3 times the money he normally gains, and he decided to dash Mr. James, let's say 10,000, because he probably made about 300,000. So that 10,000 it's going to fall under others, but we're not going to input. Sorry, it's going to fall under others, but we're not going to put anything. We're not going to put anything here because it doesn't plan for other. But in case it happens, it falls under the other category. So this is all we can. This all we put in. Sorry, in the income. So the same thing goes for the actual. You don't touch it. You leave it the way it is. Also, the same thing goes for the difference. You don't touch it. It does the calculation on its own. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause and fill out the remaining parts of the expenses. Okay, if you can see, we added something else to the other section to the expenses. So investment, he actually plans to save or invest 20,000 naira because when you invest, you need to plan for your investment. So fish farm, it could be any expenses, probably pumping of water. Maybe you want to change the water, so you have to pump water, or it could be buying new fingerlings, anything. But we're gonna leave it at zero because we don't know. We're gonna leave it at zero for now because we have no plans for that. Then sixth fund, he plans to save 20,000 every month for his sink fund. Okay, so that's it. That's it, guys. So this is all I want to do in the summary part of. So now you can look at this. You see that expenses has increased to 180. Our planned expenses has increased to 183,800, and our planned income has increased to 270,000. So let's go to transaction. So transaction is also separated into two. We have expenses, we have income. So what this does is basically whenever your money leaves your account, you log it into this part of your expenses, and whenever money comes into your account, you log it in here. So for the we're going to edit this because we're not going to use this. So I want to show you how this works. You will just let's use today's date, 4th, let's see, at May 4th, he decides to save 42,000 for rent. And if you go here, this is the description. This is where you write what that transaction is for. This is important because if I know this about to people where you transfer money, you are trying to track what you spent your money for, and you look at certain figures, I can't tell what exactly did that transaction for, or what you purchased that you paid that amount for. So the description just helps you tag, what that particular transaction was for. So you say rent. Okay, I just finished filling everything.
Okay, now I'm just editing the date so that they look like the transaction happened day after day instead of just having only one date. So
It was like, let's say in expenses he was expecting to sell his fish for 70, but he ended up selling his fish 100k, or end up realizing 100k as profit from his fish. Okay, so I'm done filling out all this.
okay, so if you look at the spreadsheet, the transaction spreadsheet, the income side of the transaction spreadsheet, you will notice that there are transactions that we filled in. On the 4th of May, you see 200k came in as his paycheck was his salary. Then on the 6th of May, he got 30,000 as commission for consultation. Then on the 11th of May, he sold his fish and realized a profit of 100k. So that will fall under the fish farm category. On the 16th of May, Oga today dashed him 10k. Now we have used all the category, including the others. The money that they dash him is going to be in the others.
Just in case the pension doesn't work out, or during retirement, maybe the money he gets to earn is actually too low. So on the 12th of May, the money that Ogatuden gave him, he said, okay, let me use 5k inside and buy fingerlings of 100 fingerlings, 50 naira each. And he, he, he saves up 10,000 in his sink fund to buy gifts on new clothes. On the 14th of May, he also invested 5k, making a total of 25k invested. So let's go to the summary and see what the summary looks like. So now you can see this in the expenses part of the summary. You can see the expenses he planned for and his actual expenses. You can see the difference. I don't know how much it was before, but it has changed. This is the money that he planned, income he planned for, and the income that he actually got. So, and if you go to the table part of the summary, you can see that actual now has values, the difference have values. So actual value in foodstuff, you can see that it's actually zero because we planned 40k and we use 40k for our expenses for food. If you go to transportation, we haven't written anything on transportation yet. I just chose not to. Rent, the same thing. Bill, nothing. We have not done anything on utility bill. Let's say dining out. Dining out, I've just spent 10k. Reason our plan is 40, then actual spending just 10k. Then remaining 30k, that's the difference. Then for investing, investment, we spent 20. Investment, we're budgeting 20. Then we end up spending 25. That's why it's showing negative 5,000. The fish farming, we did not budget anything for fish farming. Now we're seeing that we spend 5,000 for fish farming, showing us 5,000 is in the negative. So fish farming is negative. If something's in negative, that should mean that is a bad thing. So let's go to income. We're planning 7,000. If you see the difference here is that in expensive, if we spend more than we planned for, it's going to be on the negative side. But in income, if we gain more than we planned for, it's going to be on the positive side. So if you look at it, we plan 70k that we'll get from our fish farm. Then we end up actualizing 100k in profit in our fish farm. In his fish farm, let's just say our, I said our, in his fish farm paycheck. We planned 200k, we got 200k. Commission, they James did not plan anything for commission, so getting 30k for commission gave him a positive. If it was on the expenses where you did not plan anything for and expenses and you spend money, it's going to be a negative, but yet actually a positive. Others, we did not plan anything, but didn't plan to get any money, but got today dash James 10,000. So now we have positive here. So this is just how it is. This tracks your expenses as long as you log in the transaction here. everything is being recorded and summarized. Yeah, you don't need to do any calculation, nothing. Everything's summarized here. It show you. Can I go to a pie chart? But I'm not going to do that in this video. So this one is just the way it comes in Google Sheets. So it just shows you what you planned for and what you actually got. So if you're going to be looking at this, we started with 0, and now we're ending with, well, we have not ended this month, but our ending balance is 280. So this person still has, Mr. James says 280,000 for it to carry him for the rest of the month. It's going to show him his balance and what he has left. It's going to show him how it's going to show increase of total savings. But the last savings was 0. Let's say maybe let's say save. Now you will see this. And this plus will also increase. This will show you that there's a 20x gain. Now it's not going to be any percentage because we don't pass percentage now. If it was something that maybe what was left was, let's say, 20, it could have said a 200% gain. A 200% gain in 7 ball. We're talking about 200 something thousand that's left. So you say a 2x. That's what it's showing you right now.
Okay, there are three ways you can use this sheet. Number one, you can basically just use the same document, just clear the transaction sheet. The categories and everything is left the same. The only thing you'll change is your ending balance, or your starting balance. You copy the ending balance of month May or this ending balance, and you copy it and you put it in the starting balance of the next month, but you're using the same document. The pro of this one is that you avoid having to deal with too much document, so you just have one document that you reuse over and over for every month. The con or the bad part of this is that you don't have historical view, you don't have the past, you don't have past information, you don't have, no, you are not able to be accountable. You don't know how much you spent, how you spent, and what you spent last month. So it's just important to look at your sheet for each month. Then the second option is basically you can use save these documents, then use a clean sheet, a different clean sheet. Basically you're copying it, you're just copying, and you name this one budget for May, then the other document will be named budget for June. So you're basically just copying the budget, then you adjust it, you clean all the transaction from May, and you might leave your category the same way but different. Then you save this document as budget for May, or you can even just use a new template if you think the categories are not the categories you want. Maybe this month you realize that these categories are not going to work for next month. You can just go to Google Sheets templates and use the brand new templates. So the pro of this is that you have full history of all your tracking. It's easy to compare each month. The con is that you have too much documents. If you're going to be doing it for a year, you have 12 documents, and maybe that's too much to manage. Then we have option 3. Option 3 is you using option 3, it could be using the same sheet or the same document for all your transactions. All you just do is you create a new sheet, or you copy the transaction sheet and you modify it, and copy the summary sheet and modify it. But you can still leave the summary sheet. Maybe you decide to summarize all your transaction for every month, but you have different transaction sheets for different months. That's the way you can do it. You can use one sheet or one document for a whole year, in the sense that you can have multiple transaction sheets of May, June, July, and you can decide to have one summary sheet if that's how you want to do it, where you summarize all your transactions. Or you can do it this way, where you have multiple transaction sheets and multiple summary sheets. But I prefer that you have just one summary sheet. You summarize all your transactions for different months. And I think maybe I'll do a video of summarizing your transaction from different months, where you basically have specific information from each month, not just a clutter of summary where you just say, okay, this is total expenses for the last 12 months, or you have like information on how much you saved on each month. I think that would be better. and maybe the comparison will be based, and you save it as one document, and you can have the comparison to be more as a transaction between 2025 and 2026 instead of making it monthly document. And there are certain times that you want to go back to see what you did, how you did in the last month or the last 2 months, or basically you are trying to find certain patterns that you might notice in a month. So you can say, okay, was this present last month or last 2 months? But you're able to do that because you've cleared your sheets, or you don't keep track of your sheets. Okay, so bye, and stay tuned for the next one.